Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits. Yeah, YouTube. Fuck YouTube.
Thank God I'm in control of this project.
Yay. Okay.
Wait till the 50 Shades thing. Jesus God.
Oh, that's going to be a fun thing to review.
Kyle's going to film it, reviewing Lion in the Bed.
I'm a chapter and a half into the book so far. It's taken me 3 days.
Are you gonna do like you in a robe with like candles in the background, like romantic mood kind of thing?
So we just got back from watching The Disaster Artist, which is the sort of making of The Room, which is the best movie ever. One of my favorites. Everyone here has seen it, right? So that was absolutely incredible. Somewhat based on the book that Greg Sestero wrote, who played Mark in the movie. Several things were clearly exaggerated, I thought.
Their acting talent?
Well, okay, sure, but I'm talking about how
I would say like the friendship. There's no way
the friendship.
They're like bros.
How it took I think they said it was like 67 takes for the roof scene.
Yeah, and then he's the one who gave him the bottle. I was like, dude, you can do this. Here, use this bottle. It'll make your acting better. And then he was the one that helped him. I don't know about that.
I'm sure there was some use of artistic license just to help make the movie a bit funnier.
Well, yeah, sure enough, and it worked in that degree. It was, I wouldn't say that there were like any real gut-busting moments, but the movie itself was pretty funny. Especially when we got to the scene where they started filming for The Room, because it's just so... James Franco was so ridiculous in his portrayal of Tommy Wiseau that you couldn't help but laugh. It's just so awkward and cringy, but at the same time, everyone else around him is playing it straight, especially Seth Rogen, who made an excellent straight man throughout the movie.
Yeah.
This movie felt like every other character was a straight man.
Yeah, it's pretty much everyone was a straight man except for Tommy Wiseau, and it was his bizarre personality that just made everything stand out so well. I'm a little annoyed that they tried to change a few things just to give it a nice happy ending, because originally when this was made, Tommy Wiseau was pitching it as a like a dark drama, like, really intense, that kind of stuff. But in the movie, he like immediately rolls off with, "Oh no, this is a comedy. It's a black comedy. So this is exactly what I wanted to do." Real life, he actually like tried to get rid of this for a couple of years and basically tried to hide it, which is why it was so hard to find for a few years after it was made.
I did think it was maybe a little bit disappointing that they didn't give any credence to Adult Swim, because I don't know the exact history, so I might be wrong, but it was when they showed it for their April Fool's Night that I think really helped blow it up into popularity.
That's where I first saw it.
Well, they had, considering the running time, they had to simplify it, with the
which
little,
is the
after credits thing, and then everything went great. The end, and then that was Greg was the one that basically did all the big moments, who helped him with the acting. Who, when he was watching the premiere, he was all like he's all mopey because everyone, my movie's been ruined. But Greg is the one who's like, dude, they love it, man. They love this movie. Can't you hear the laughter? They love it. And Tommy
did Hitchcock ever get that kind of reaction?
Exactly. If you watch the movie, it's like Tommy is like, whenever he's angry, you can't. He's pissed. You can't stop him.
You cannot de-escalate him.
But Greg is the only one who can make him come back down to whatever planet he belongs to, and it's just that constant. He was the one he was always there to help Tommy. I'm like, I seriously doubt he was that committed.
Probably, and I don't think that filming was actually that unstable. There's certainly a degree of unprofessional behavior, and there's no way Wiseau knew what the hell he was doing. But at the same time, they had to play a lot of that up for laughs.
Yeah, like the thing with the. I can't remember what his role was. He was like a production assistant. He was always the one that was always antagonizing Tommy whenever he had a chance.
The director of photography.
Who was always screaming at him, like every 10 minutes something was making him go crazy. Like with the sex scene.
Yeah. The sex scene was wonderfully cringy.
Oh God, his ass. Just like the movie, that's all you can think of. It's like, ah.
Just walking around with his dick hanging out.
Oh, it's like taped up, I was like, what is that?
So that was, just so you know, Paul Scheer.
Oh, the actor?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, he was in Piranha, I think. The guy who played the guy with the hat. Yeah, I've seen he's a character actor. I've seen like a ton of movies.
Yeah, cool.
I actually did like the casting of it. They had Hannibal Buress,
Yeah.
Jason Mantzoukas, Seth Rogen.
What's his name? Odenkirk.
Hmm.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk. He was where he plays
Oh,
Saul.
Bob Odenkirk. Yeah.
He was. Who was
He was that one
director
of that play.
Yeah, a lot of cameos in this. From like Bryan Cranston was
Oh,
fun to see.
Cranston was great. I've got to look that up to see if Okay, Cranston gets a cameo, and they've got a story about how he was directing an episode of Malcolm in the Middle and needed to borrow Greg or offered a role to Greg for a small scene like as a lumberjack, and that ended up being a point of contention between him and Tommy. And I got to look that up to see if that's real. It's probably not, but at the same time, I'm just curious.
Well, between what was actually true and what was embellished. I mean, I feel like we're talking about that. I think there's more embellishments than anything else.
Oh, certainly.
Without
But at
a
the
doubt.
same time, I just want to look that up to see just like how embellished it was.
Right.
Hey, one sec. Nope, sorry.
Ash, what have I told you about noise when we're filming?
Bad, Mr. Kitty.
While I talk about Bryan Cranston, I'm all excited. Breaking Bad was a good show. No, Malcolm in the Middle was better. No, I mean, I like the cameos. The acting was all around pretty good. I mean, it kind of felt like whenever there was the parts they were filming the movie, they're all like the way they were reacting to Tommy. It kind of felt like you were kind of like there in the background, like watching, like, oh man, ooh.
Yeah, so
This
it's
guy.
like the cringe is real.
Right. It kind of felt like it kind of did. At least to me, it kind of felt like I was kind of like there, like witnessing it. Like how am I going to deal with this guy?
Actually, while I'm thinking about it, there is Tommy Wiseau does have a cameo. Apparently, it's in the post-credits scene that we walked out of and missed.
Like,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
theater.
I should.
Yeah, actually, I believe it was your words were. What is this? A Marvel movie?
Yes, it was. Yeah, and it was. I screwed it up.
It's his fault.
Tommy Wiseau after credits. Who would have thought? Come on. But that is a cameo. It is an after credits cameo. Which come on, really?
That doesn't even really feel like a
Yeah,
cameo.
it's kind of-
that's really
It's not a cameo. It just feels forced.
Yeah,
It's probably him in sunglasses too that you can see all the time.
almost. If James Franco's portrayal is accurate, there's got to be something wrong with Tommy Wiseau's eyes because he wears sunglasses like 90-80% of the movie.
Well, it's like what they said in the movie. They think he's a vampire rapist. He has to be a vampire, right? It's his sunglasses at all
At this
times.
point, I am convinced that he's either an ancient vampire who's sitting on a mountain of gold or something. That's where he gets all the money. Or, Nick, I think your theory was trust fund baby who got into a car accident and suffered brain damage.
Yep, that was my theory.
That was
Oh, it was
Will
Keena's?
Yeah.
So, frankly, either one is equally plausible.
I mean, it's almost a game. The theories you can come up with, how he got the funds for the movie and what's his deal. I mean, everything. I think they've mentioned stuff like everything with like mafia connections, or he was
I like the D.B. Cooper theory.
D.B. Cooper. I've heard of that one. He was actually D.B. Cooper. He's some rich guy's son. And he lost his memory, but he still has access to the funds.
I was curious, just because they did make a note of it before the credits. Do we really not know where he's from or how old he is?
It's still nothing. If you try to look up stuff, it's a question mark. They don't know when he was born. There's I think they found maybe some evidence of from Eastern Europe, like an old photo or something.
I mean,
we gotta get the FBI on this shit.
He's got to have U.S. citizenship or something, doesn't he?
I don't know if I want to find out, because remember in the movie, whenever Greg whenever he brought it up, he's like, no, don't talk about like Fight Club, those rules, don't talk about me, don't tell anyone anything. I feel like if we talk about it too much, we'll invoke his presence and he will appear and he will talk us all to death or something. You'll wake up strapped to a bed, and you'll be him with duct tape and rubber bands around his dick, and he's like showing you his ass.
That was really fucking weird.
Oh, hi, Kyle. And you're like, ah! Just, I don't want to take that chance. I think it's good not to know. It's better off not knowing, you know? I don't want to wake up in some spaceship somewhere with Tommy Wiseau and his people. I don't want to see that. I don't want to be that guy, no.
Ooh, actually, that reminds me. The one element... So, one of the things that they did that I thought was very cute is they kept poking fun of a lot of the plot holes and the mistakes and the why is this here kind of segments from The Room. One of the things that I understand why they didn't do it, but I was kind of disappointed that they didn't, was just how many spoons were in picture frames.
Yeah, the spoon thing, yeah.
It's just one of those smaller details that always made me laugh.
I don't think they mentioned it at all.
No,
it was more just about the scene.
I
and the
didn't
dialogue.
even notice any spoons anywhere.
That's the one thing I was looking at the sets. Like everything was basically just like The Room. Like everything was set up like the way you would with the cups and the wardrobe and everything. But there were no spoons.
Yeah,
there were no spoons at all. No focus on the spoons or Tommy demanding we need more spoons. It was more just about the script and the acting, what they were focused on. Like even when they were making it.
Yeah.
Do you think he had enough belts offset?
I was like, how many was like 6? Was he wearing?
It was at least 3.
At least. And
how many keys were on that ring?
Apparently, I think I read somewhere that he owned like an apartment building or something, or he's a superintendent or something like that. He owned property because remember he had that business, the clothing business.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And that's the other reason I'm glad that we went to the Alamo to watch this, because the Alamo always plays various clips of all sorts of things from all over the place, oftentimes relevant to the movie you're watching. And one of the things they pulled was like this old department store commercial where it's Tommy Wiseau dressed up in Shakespearean garb, trying and failing to recite Hamlet in an attempt to advertise like levies or something. Be or not to be on sale, or I don't even know what the hell.
It was a typical like late night commercial.
It was like early 90s awful department store commercial.
I would still shop there though. I'll be down for that. Jeans from Tommy Wiseau.
Legitimate celebrity endorsement.
I am down for that. Get some sunglasses too for him, actually.
Those were some pretty good sunglasses.
There were.
They were actually very nice.
And heavy Ray-Bans too.
Yeah.
They kept showing hints of like his secret wealth too. Remember when he was in his room and all this weird stuff he had.
I was so convinced that we were going to turn around and the wealth was actually going to be drug money.
I was really hoping they would like have scenes where it would give some, evidence, whatever theories people would come up with, like the mafia connections, like him like shaking someone's hand in the corner or something. Or that would have been great, just to have fun with it. Like, what's going on here? Who's he talking to? Why is he getting a suitcase? What's going on? That would have been funny if they played along with that.
Yeah,
because that was part of the movie. They would have him like, where's he? Seth Rogen goes to the bank and he's like, this is gonna be a joke check, and the guy's like, oh no, it's legit. And he's like, excuse me? And he's like, what do you mean? Like, oh, it's like limitless. It's limitless.
It's a bottomless pit.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's like, what? I didn't really play along with that. I was hoping they would.
Yeah,
that would have been funny.
I mean, they just leave it as a mystery because it's one of those things they don't actually have to answer. It'd be fun if they did, but more of the fun comes from fan speculation of where did he get the money. And all that stuff, because apparently The Room cost around $6 million to make. Apparently the figures haven't actually been released, so
I'm still trying to believe how the hell that the equipment they used. I mean, why would he? They were like in 3 rooms. It's like 3 rooms in a fake rooftop.
Yeah.
Oh, and they recreate an alleyway, even though there's an alleyway right there.
Mm-hmm. And the flower shop.
And the flower shop. And the San Francisco scenes.
That was
just for a football field or whatever in the park. $6 million.
Yeah,
I've seen movies way more that were not even a fraction of that cost. So what the hell was it? What they used it for?
A lot of it, I imagine, would have mainly just been buying the equipment.
Yeah, remember they kept
instead of renting.
Rent it. He's like, oh, no, I'll just buy it.
I mean, especially back then, HD cameras are insane.
The digital was like, that was I can't even imagine back in like 2000, 2001.
Yeah, it was like 2001 they started filming.
Yeah,
That's
so that
back
was,
when HDTVs were new and they cost
Yeah.
over $1,000 easy.
Yeah. And not to mention the crew had to hire the run it.
Yeah, they had to hire double crew because they had the 2 different camera types.
Yeah, because he wanted digital and then the 3500. It's like
Yeah.
even they were kind of like, is he crazy? They never revealed how much it was. I was kind of hoping they'd give us an idea, like a camera's $500,000 or something, you know.
Well, I think that plays into the idea of we don't really know how much it cost to make this movie, so they're kind of playing up on the just watching their backs, really.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was, I felt it was more an exploration of Tommy's character by following Greg. It was not really Greg's story, but he was the central focus of the whole thing as he goes from this starry-eyed 19-year-old in an acting class who gets wowed at how easily Tommy's able to make an ass of himself.
Well, I was just kind of surprised how willing he was to go with this guy. I mean, which one of us would, hey, there's a weird, possibly European man, hey, get in the van, we're going to drive 3,000 miles to go see James Dean's grave, and you just met him for like, what, a day? Would you do that?
And Greg's mom was absolutely and legitimately worried about this. Like, you barely know this guy and you're going to move in with him?
Well, that's the thing in the movie too. They keep constantly hinting like everyone thinks that they're like lovers or something because he always calls Greg in the movie babyface, you know, and the way they interact, we're just like, what's going on here? Are they anything? Is that what this is about? You know, what the hell?
But at the same time, I have to respect Tommy Wiseau. The guy has no like actual aptitude for doing this, but at the same time, to have the balls to go forward and do something like that. I mean, I would love to quit my job right now and just work on my show full time or work on my book. To actually fully put yourself into something like that. Unfortunately, I don't have a secret stash of drug money or D.B. Cooper money,
Right?
Or anything, or vampire money.
It just kind of teaches the lesson we all know at this point that if you have money, you can do anything you want.
Pretty much.
That's basically it. We just have some serious
The
connections.
hidden moral of the movie.
That's right. Money is the true source to your dreams. Of course.
I thought that was obvious.
Basically is, but sometimes we forget that. We think it's more than just money. No, it's the money. It's this bottomless pit of mysterious mafia, sex, drug money, or maybe the genes. Maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe it had
That
the story.
couldn't have made that much money.
I don't
Unless
know.
he owned the entire mall.
I mean, owning property in the Los Angeles area wouldn't be cheap. I could see an apartment being worth. I mean, if he owned the whole building, that's worth several million easy.
Yeah, that's what they said. He owned like we got whatever money he got from. He used it into like buying up buildings and areas, and that's basically what they say he got from.
Real estate is
Real estate, yeah. And that would make sense. Los
Just
Angeles.
keep coming back to how the hell he got the funding for this.
Well, that's because he comes out of nowhere. You know, Greg meets him like in his community center acting class, and all of a sudden he's some hidden rich guy. I mean,
It's just a K-Pax alien.
God, I think that's putting it lightly.
Kind of showed up one day.
That would explain a lot of things, actually.
It's like I said earlier. I would have paid to have an ending where the alien ship just lands, and Tommy just waddles over to his other Tommies. Like, that all makes sense now.
Did you ever play
Fascinating.
the Newgrounds Flash game of
Yes.
the room?
Yes, you can. Yep.
That's
I love that game.
Oh my God.
you have to imagine
Tommy's an alien.
if the room was released nowadays. I wonder if it would have had the same success because that would have gotten ripped and placed on YouTube.
That's a good question.
It would have.
I don't think it would have been as big as it was. It just would have been another
Right.
one in the list of many so bad it's good movies. But it wouldn't have been like. It was kind of like the gateway drug for bad movies to become a popular thing.
In a lot of ways. I mean, movies that are so bad it's good have been around for a while. I mean, God, so many things I could list. Excalibur, for starters. I think that came out in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah,
or
but
something.
this one's always considered like the best, or like any
Well, yeah,
website's
because
like the
they
top
got
10
they
list.
got everything wrong, and by doing so, they got everything right.
Yeah.
In some strange mathematical way that I can't describe.
I think the difficulty in being able to find the movie for a while helped it too.
Yeah, because he had the cult following at that point.
Well, it was around
Branded.
the film convention indie circles, and it became bigger and bigger until eventually word of mouth. Like you mentioned Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, but I think I would probably argue that's also the thing that was the key to it reaching a wider audience was definitely that. Like they showed during the Alamo the clip from the Tim and Eric show. That's where I first saw Tommy Wiseau. I'm like, who the hell is this guy doing the Pigman skit? You know, and that's what led me to actually watching the actual movie, which was like, oh my god, that makes sense. It's a scene from the movie. It is the Pigman, okay. Which surprisingly, the Pigman scene actually is more coherent than the scene in the room that was making fun of.
But it is so cringy. I've never found Tim and Eric funny.
No, you gotta be a special kind of person. Keyword special kind of person.
You mean high?
Yes.
Okay.
Very high, very drunk.
It can be a miss kind of show.
True too, yeah. Sometimes it can be good. Sometimes it's like, what is this? Okay. But that's where I remember when I saw Tommy the first time was that. And then the room was on Adult Swim, but it was censored, so it wasn't. It spared you the scenes of his ass, which was actually a good thing. Now I'm thinking about it. That is one scene that does linger with you. Oof.
But the at the very end of the movie, they have the scene-by-scene comparison of
That was awesome.
the room and the recreation that these guys did. And they were surprisingly on point. I've already seen this released online. I think I saw it on Facebook or YouTube or something. But when you actually watch them, it's not just that they got the timing down right. They also got a lot of the subtle mannerisms right. Like, and it's funny because they when it's finally time in the movie to sit down and watch the premiere of The Room, they were so on point that for the first several seconds, I wasn't sure if we were seeing a recreation or the actual movie, The Room. Say what you will about my observation skills. James Franco got a lot of the more subtle elements. There was one scene, it's like where he's arguing with Lisa, and he kind of does this sudden lunge off to the right, kicking his elbow, throwing his elbow out, and Tommy Wiseau does the same thing in his scene. It was like, oh wow, I'd actually never really paid attention, but that looks really weird.
Yeah, I'd say James Franco easily. He did such a great job being Tommy. Like you said, get the mannerisms down, the voice, the look. I mean, there's a few moments where he looked just like him, just for a split second, you know.
Yeah.
And he really I don't know what he did to study for that, but you know, to get into that role. But he really killed it. I don't know if it's going to be Oscar worthy, but I mean, I think from previous winners, if they become the character, that's basically top tier, and he did it.
Absolutely. I mean, he didn't exactly look like Wiseau. He looked like the love child of Tommy Wiseau and Nicolas Cage.
Well, he's got like a slightly bigger version because I think side by side he's like a good 3 inches taller than the actual Wiseau.
Something like that, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I mean, but the man, everything else though was pretty. Cool.
Oh man,
and then there are people like you mentioned in the movie. Were pretty good too in terms of acting like the real life versions of themselves.
Oh yeah,
like Dave Franco playing Greg. You know, when the later part when he gets more, when he's not naive anymore. I'm like, yeah, that's like Greg. He's always kind of pissed off and serious all the time.
Yeah.
You know, almost like Ben Affleck during interviews for Batman, just kind of like moody, like yeah. I know.
Just look more depressed than anything.
Yeah, I still think he regrets not taking that Malcolm in the Middle. Despite all the success, I think he would still jump into that just to be a lumberjack. Lumberjack is a lumberjack.
I'd take it.
Yeah, right.
You know, I've never really been a fan of DeFranco's acting or his movies. I mean, it's just I didn't like. I wasn't really against them. Not DeFranco, James Franco, whatever.
Wait, James Franco or Dave Franco?
Either.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I've never really been big on Seth Rogen either. It's one of those things, like, every once in a while they get a role, it's like, yeah, okay, they get a few chuckles, and then every once in a while more commonly they have a role, it's like, yeah, that's really fucking stupid. This one, though, I actually really liked everyone's performances.
Well, it's like I say, it kind of gives a new light on James Franco, because you would think of him all these, like, slacker, idiot roles, and here he is, actually.
Yeah, it's like, he's at his funniest when you're stoned off your ass.
Right, but this one he's actually... He's acting. He's being,
no drugs needed. Yeah, that's my rating.
He's being Tommy Wiseau. He's doing a hell of a job, you know. And that's such a departure from his previous stuff, you know. Seth Rogen he's one of those. He's Seth Rogen in every movie.
Yeah.
Don't get me started with the Green Hornet. I still am pissed about that.
I didn't think it was bad.
But Seth Rogen as Green Hornet?
Wow.
Come on.
I'll revisit that in a review at some point.
Oh, it's painful.
But,
You're the closest one to looking like Seth Rogen in the bunch here.
Oh, I could have a green shirt.
Well,
that's racist.
It's a Rick and Morty shirt. See, Pickle Rick. Oh god, Seth Rogen's Pickle Rick. Oh god. Oh, it's gonna be stuck in my head all night now.
Yeah, the only problem is I can't see him putting any real energy into that. I'm Pickle Rick.
Let's get fucked up and stoned, and he teams up with the rest of the food to murder people. No, but back to the thing. Do we actually have any more thoughts?
If you like The Room, you like The Disaster Artist. If you haven't seen The Room didn't like it, you won't probably enjoy it so much.
That's what I was saying.
If you have seen The Room and you didn't like it, you don't have a pulse.
I mean, that's what I said. The movie's a good companion movie to The Room. If you enjoyed The Room or more curious about The Room, I think it's a good thing to watch.
Kind of like a semi-accurate what if making of.
I would probably watch The Room first, to experience that first, and then jump into The Disaster.
It's not nearly as much fun if you don't have The Room as grounds for understanding.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you just watch it as is, I mean, it could be almost like any other biodrama movie. Like you could make up an ending and it would have made perfect sense. Where at the end Tommy rapes and kills Greg, or it's a murder suicide deal, or Tommy kills himself. You could easily turn it into some mopey drama movie. Granted, that's not what happened, but when you watch the movie, you could see how they could have easily turned into that. It has that formula to it.
You do kind of need to go in knowing that the movie is going to be about Tommy Wiseau's nuances and such that you would pick up from The Room. Because if you go in there, you're just going to see it's just this dude being really weird.
Yeah. Greg and his adventures filming a movie with a complete weirdo, and doesn't really. If you don't have that background, it's just like any other.
I can't help but think that if I had never seen The Room before and I went in to see The Disaster Artist as was without the background understanding, it just would have been another typical James Franco, Seth Rogen movie. I mean, I just what? How is this funny? Everything's awkward. It might get a few laughs now and then.
But I think it's still without that background, it's still perfectly watchable. But it's definitely better if you know about The Room beforehand. You know, because it's fun to see them recreating the scenes, all the other little things that if you watch The Room, you know what to look for. It definitely makes it a better experience.
Yeah.
It's not required, but I think if you want to go see that movie, make sure that people have seen The Room or watch a clip of The Room so they know what they expect, and then check it out.
Ken, what would you give this rating? Like out of 5?
Probably a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Okay. Chase.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat, like 4.
Yeah, let's go in the same boat. I get 4 non-existent spoons out of 5. I think it's not a perfect movie by any means, but it's perfectly watchable, and the actors do a great job with it. It's fun to see them, emulate these roles from the movie, and I think James Franco did a extremely good job being Tommy. I think it's a good career move for him. It shows he can go beyond his typical character of a role he usually jumps into. So I think I'm happy for him to see that he's taking chances, because this could have been a complete disaster.
Yeah.
Pun with that, it could have been. It could just be like a whatever movie, but really I think it's a good door opener for him.
I would say I'd give it a 4 out of 5 if you've seen The Room. If you've not and you don't have that background, it's probably just a 3 out of 5. But I mean, overall, just standing on its own, it has decent pacing. The characters are written well. They're enjoyable. You want to see them succeed. As awkward as the whole thing is, Greg comes off as a very sympathetic, semi-main character.
It does help that he wrote the script, I believe.
There's definitely he definitely did some touch-ups with his character, because there's no way in hell.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the movie. I'm not talking about like realism. I'm talking about the movie as a movie.
Yeah.
So within that context, Greg comes off very sympathetically. Tommy comes off as very confused, very weird, very out there. But at the same time, I mean, that weirdness never becomes overwhelming, and you do feel sorry for him, because he's clearly very passionate about this. He just doesn't know how to direct that passion. And I think a lot of people who have like an artistic feeling or artistic spirit inside themselves, for lack of a better word, might relate to that. So
Well, definitely a sympathetic light.
yeah,
Like he's almost, like there was nothing morally bad about him. He's like this strange.
he's just
creature,
weird, and
yeah.
and that in and of itself is not a bad thing.
No, he's not. I mean, like they focus on him being weird, but it's never in a negative light.
Right.
It's just him being bizarre.
Just different.
But he never gets like particularly like we see like in shows like someone going off the deep end. You never see him get completely violent, attacking Greg physically or getting really like you see him like in the movie he gets really passionate about the acting whatever. You never see him like lash out like with the scene with the producer. Like I think in most movies that character would have went crazy and started causing a scene, attacking the guy. Mm-hmm. He just basically kind of just like shut down like his dreams were shattered.
Yeah.
So it made you want to root for him to succeed with the room. Or whatever he wanted to do.
Definitely good stuff.
Because of course that was all Greg who pushed him towards doing that.
Right.
In a way. It was Greg. Greg was the source of everything. It's him. It was him. He was the catalyst. Which I really... you're not tricking me with that one. There's no way in hell.
But I'm definitely going to have to buy the book and give that a look.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm probably after we're done with this, I'm probably gonna end up checking it out on Amazon. I'm just curious what wasn't put into the movie,
and how much was changed from real life, but that we may never know.
Oh yeah. No, I do have a sneaking suspicion. I'm gonna open the book and be a picture of Tommy's ass in the first page, and that shit haunts you. It haunts you.
And that's where we're going to end on. Tommy Wiseau's ass.
And James Franco's ass. James Franco's ass as Tommy Wiseau's ass.
There you go.
And hopes for the sequel.